Like the whole sales team had to do a secret meeting so that they can complain about me.
Welcome to Padayon, a Cebu businessman podcast where we celebrate the brightest minds in the countries. I'm your host, Brian Yap. Before we dive in, be sure to follow Padayon Podcast on our socials, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't forget to follow CBM and Cebu Business Chamber of Commerce and Industry social media pages as well. In this episode of Padayon Podcast, we will get to chat the brains behind the success of one of the world's best airport, Mactan-Cebu International Airport. With us is a proud mom and a published author. We'll talk more about it later. Let us all welcome the head of strategy of Aboitiz InfraCapital Cebu Airport Corporation, Christine Villanueva. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Brian.
Thank you for welcoming me to the airport.
Of course, welcome to my second home.
My first question to you, Christina, is as a working mom, what is your morning routine like?
Nothing special really. I am a morning person, but at the same time, I also love to sleep, no? And I have two small kids, so usually it's my 3-year-old who wakes me up. He's the first person to wake up in our family. And he wakes me up by planting my cell phone on my face because it's alarming. So it starts with that. But I had to make sure I take good breakfast. I prepare my kids for school. I drop them to school. And then I enjoy a nice silent drive from Mindanao to the airport. So I cross the bridge every day. Then I make sure I take like maybe 3-5 minutes at the parking lot, trying to, sync myself and review my calendar, review my emails before I head straight to the office. That's my morning.
Do you still remember your first childhood dream, Christine? Was it really working in the airport or it was something different?
Never in my dreams have I imagined working in an airport. So if you look at my elementary yearbook, it says I wanted to be an accountant. But I'm really bad in math. Like my brain shuts down when I do mental math. But I think I've always wanted to become a writer. I've been part of the school publication from elementary to high school to college. I was part of the collegian. So I was thinking that can be either a career or a lifestyle because I love doing it. I love writing. I've entered contests on essay writing, poetry writing. I've won some, and I think it's good that even with my job right now, I get to practice that.
So there was a big from accounting, from numbers to creative, totally different.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I put accountant there.
Was it because you were also pushed by family to take accounting rather than to go creative? I mean, like traditionally, us being Filipino, was there also an influence from family for you to get accounting?
Well, none really, but my sister is really good in accounting. So when we were in college, we used to compare our grades, and I was telling her I was very happy I got 2.75 in math. And she said, well, my grade is 1.25. Okay, fine ko na, diba? But, well, I think it goes by influence. Because I remember my grade school teacher during that time said, I was good in math because I can do fractions very well. And she even handed me the test papers and asked me to check the test papers of my classmates. So I think influence plays a very important role on how your perspective in
Yeah.
life would be and how your future will be shaped.
Considering you work in an airport, and we know how busy this career is, you being as a mom, as a published author, we'll also talk about it later. What do you like to do on the weekends? Or do you even have weekends?
I have weekends. My weekends are sacred, and my boss knows about that. um, every weekend, most weekends, we're usually at the beach. We love to paddle. My husband and I will love to paddle. My kids love to swim. So I get one shade darker every weekend. My makeup foundation cannot cope with it anymore. But yeah, paddling is a pretty niche sport, but we do love it. And being in Cebu allows us to do it.
So what are your top 3 beaches to go to in Cebu? suggestions to our audience?
Tough question. Well, Mactan will always be a good choice. But there is also a nice place in Cordova, which is a place where you can enter the beach without having to pay the entrance fee of the high-end resorts. And they have really nice mangroves there. We also usually go to Danao because we have a small place there. And that's pretty much another home for us. And I would say secret islands way down south where you can see a really nice drop of corals with colors like the Pinoy sorbetes. That's how I would describe it.
So there's a lot of gems in Cebu.
Yeah, and I've been around Cebu. I'm proud to say that.
Who was your adult mentor that gave you life's lessons na until today it still struck to you up to this point in your life?
I've always been blessed with good bosses. And I remember there's this one boss that I had when I was based in Singapore. And when I was in Singapore, I was asked to come back to the Philippines to lead my very first team. And I was telling that boss, so what do I do now? Do I become more strict? Do I become, fearsome? But then what he told me really struck, and I'm still hanging on to it until now. She said, Christine, you are a nice person. Everyone knows you are nice. And you can get things done by being nice. You don't need to change anything. You only have to be genuine. And I've hung on to that mentorship session up until now.
So till now it still works.
I'm still nice.
Which mentor do you believe that had the greatest impact on your leadership? Why?
Probably my very first female boss, who is a Brazilian, who looks like Diana Torre. Yes. And she was the first female boss that made me believe that, oh, female leaders can actually do it without being one of the boys, because she really embraced her femininity and she used that to her advantage. Not on any other sense, but um, uh, it was very empowering. It was very inspiring, and she was very straightforward without hesitation, even if she's talking to male senior leaders. And I admire her for that. And that's something that really struck me, that, hey, even if I'm a lady, if I'm a woman, this is something that I can also do.
You know what? Something that I've learned and really stuck to me is when Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, he said, if you want to learn management, you want to go MBA, you learn it from your mother. Because your mom is management of the household, is also accounting, is also operation. So because women who knows how to juggle
That's
things,
true.
right?
And it's really not easy, especially if you have family, if you have kids. I always tell people that even for me, we just make it look easy, but it's really not. So give women employees, women leaders a pat on the back for keeping things
That's why we have more
like,
leadership now in women, right? I mean, like, do you think there should be one style of leadership, Christine, or do you think it really depends on a person's personality as well?
well, everyone will say there has to be situational leadership. But as a leader, you also need to have consistency. You cannot just change abruptly. You need to show consistency so that people can see that you are genuine.
Do you still remember your first job, Christine? What was the most valuable lesson that you had there?
My first job, during that time, there's no digital job search yet, no? So we had to submit resumes. I remember walking on the roads of Makati, submitting my resumes in every building. And I got hired by Philips as a project assistant.
Philips Lights, Philips.
Philips Lighting, yeah, as a project assistant. And the project is about the program developed by Procter and Gamble on distribution. It's like, how do we apply the distribution concept of a sari-sari store to a hardware store? And I was tasked to write the manuals. And by writing the manuals, I was able to understand the whole business. And that's why after, I think it was a 10-month stint. And after that, they called me back and told me that there is a new job opening. They created a new role. I think my name is already on it. And I remember that was the first time that I had my very first car at 22.
Wow.
Even if I didn't know how
Car
to drive.
agad.
The first Honda City that graced the roads of our small barangay in Bulacan. That's what it's a proud moment for me and also my parents.
So knowing that that was your first job, that was your real first paycheck. I mean, like, did you celebrate with your first paycheck? And what did you buy?
I shared a portion of it to my mom, and I remember we were at SM Mega Mall, and I bought my very first Timex watch. So I got a watch. I love watches. And I got my Timex watch with my first paycheck.
Why Timex?
That's all what my money can afford. But at the same time, I did my research also because I remember knowing that it used to be y- it used to be a watch of a certain American president. Plus, there's there's a manufacturing company of Timex here in Cebu.
Yes, yes. What was the first big lesson that your boss taught you that until now, it helped you change your trajectory in terms of your career?
It's actually something that's very simple, and I think most people can apply, because I used to be very timid. I used to be very shy.
Really?
Really, I used to be like that. And that's why my development plan was how to be more expressive and how to make my presence felt. So my boss said, okay, let's do this. Every time you come into a meeting, you force yourself. That's the term. You force yourself to say something, be it a question, be it a comment. You might end up actually saying something. You might end up not saying something because there's nothing relevant that you can say, but at least you force yourself to be present and absorb everything that's happening during the meeting. And with that, I developed this perspective to always be present and to always understand what's going on, to make sure I contribute something in all the meetings that I go into.
Could you share how you personally handle work-related setbacks? Is there really such a thing as forgetting and just moving it forward?
I used to cry. I used to cry before every time I had a setback. I did a sales job, and every month end, we literally had to beg our distributors to order so that we'll reach our quota. And if they do not order, I would cry driving back home. But I think it's all part of the process, no? Eventually, you will realize it's just a job. There are other more important things in life. These setbacks can be resolved by shopping or by eating good food. Just uh, uh, finding the cure for your setback, finding the perfect cure, and that's why it's a lot easier now for me to move forward, having that kind of mindset, having that experience that despite all the difficulties and hardships, there's always another day, and you can always move forward.
Do you remember the first time you dealt with a hurdle regarding work? How did it go down? What did the experience actually taught you?
I did sales and I also did marketing. And I remember the first marketing campaign I did was a huge flop. Like the whole sales team had to do a secret meeting so that they can complain about me. That's how bad it is. But then again, the sales team, they're my friends because I'm nice, right? And after I've heard about that, I talk to them. What do you need? What do you want? I talk to their customers, to their distributors. What do you need? What do you want? We came up with something, a 360-degree campaign, tested it with the market, and then we realized it will not be successful without the proper investment. I created a business case, went to our regional headquarters, and proposed my business case, and we got the money. And we ended up or it ended up being one of the most successful and best practice campaigns the company ever had. So there is always that, or you should always have that perspective that even with setbacks that you are experiencing, if you have that positive outlook in life, you will always recover.
Optimistic.
Yes.
If you can describe your leadership style in 3 words, how would you describe it and how did you develop that over the years?
First word, entrepreneurial. I always tell my team if something is not possible, I'm not gonna accept it. I always tell them, think possible. If it's not possible, you're telling me it's not possible, I tell you, there is always a workaround. Tell me what the workaround is and find that workaround. So with that, they get to be more resourceful, try to think outside of the box on how we can still achieve the same objective without doing the usual steps. Second, I'd say empowerment. I really try to practice it. I give responsibility to people, to my team, because I trust them that
You
they
allow
can
them
do
to
that.
make mistakes.
Exactly. But I'm always there to support them. All they have to do is raise their hand or approach me if they needed help. But what I also always tell them is, do not come to me with a problem. Tell me
Come
the
to me with a
problem,
solution.
but come to me with a solution and let's talk about what's the right solution. I really hated it when people tell me we have a problem. I have problems of my own. I don't need any extra problems. So I think that's the kind of culture that I was able to establish with the team. And the third one would be um, I like to work with a fun team. I like my team to be fun, not too serious, not so much drama. So I make sure that, you know, we take things lightly, even if it's very difficult.
How important is discipline for you when it comes to your professional life? How challenging was it for you to juggle roles and responsibility of head of strategy and then absorb the corporate affairs and branding?
It's not really discipline, I would say. It's more of flexibility. And to your point, being able to juggle things, not just at work, but also at home, no? It's very important that you are flexible and that you're open to trying things. Even for me, I have zero background on aviation. And when the opportunity came in, I had to absorb everything, learn everything, and get to know each and different functions of the business. The flexibility mindset allowed me, openness, that there are still a lot of things that I need to learn, I need to improve on, and then eventually leading to mastery. And that's where the discipline comes in.
Can you tell us your secret to the success of you're experiencing right now? Is there really such thing as a shortcut to success?
Yes, there is a shortcut because success is not just hard work, I would say. It's also perfect timing and a little bit of luck. So there's that magical sense into it. But it's primarily hard work. So it's not so much as a secret because uh, in every work that you do, hard work is very important. Charm is also important. But
Being nice,
yes,
right?
being nice is very important. But like what they said, you can get away with being charming, but at the end of the day, you need to know something, right? So you continue improving yourself and continue, you know, uh, creating that edge versus the others. And you only do that by continuous improvement.
Always learning mindset. It's really a mindset, right?
That's true.
What is the right mindset? Like if there is that one mindset should people adapt today, especially like the younger generation, what would that mindset be?
Do not be scared. Do not be scared to sit in the front row and raise your hand. Um, do not be scared to fail. I think Anton mentioned this as well, right? Do not be scared. And always have that it's not just a positive mindset. It's always the possible mindset. I always tell that to people. Don't just think positive. Think that it's possible. Because possibility is much bigger than positivism.
I want to ask more about this. The reason why most Filipinos are afraid, is it a cultural thing? Do you think that the younger generation now, like you, being as a mom, is that a different parenting style that you're gonna teach that to your kids? Like not be afraid?
I agree. I think it's partially a cultural thing. We're always scared of what other people would say if we don't go by the norms. How will other people react? Especially now with social media, no, we're always looking for um, how other people.
Proceed.
That's right. So it's a cultural thing, but maybe with social media right now, it's not just Filipinos, but even the everyone, younger generation, especially because they were born to it.
Let me ask you these questions. How much daunting task was it to deliver your promise to transform Mactan-Cebu International Airport into a world-class airport? And what was the secret behind it?
Cebu is in a perfect geographical location. We are the center of the Philippines. You can go to another island with 1 hour or less than 1.5 hours, no, of travel time, and making us in the perfect position to become the main transfer and transit hub in the country. Now, how do we do this? We talk about what's our unique selling proposition, because our operations are designed in such a way that we are efficient in terms of timing, and connecting time is very important for us. We say we have the best, or I'd say minimum connecting time compared to other international airports out there with how the infrastructure of the airport is designed. No, that is one. Second, it's the customer experience. And I think it's somehow linked also with the Cebuano or the Visayan hospitality. And you can see that everywhere here at the airport. So I guess the secret, it's not me, it's not the CEO, it's not how we envision things. It's everyone that's here in the airport. And believe it or not, also the Cebuanos, they play a big role in coming up with a world-class airport experience. And they are the ambassadors of the airport. So it's not just here at the airport, but the whole community that make things work.
To follow up on that, how pivotal was the public-private partnership model to MCIA's development? But before you answer that, can you explain to our audience, like what is PPP?
Public-private partnership. In the case of MCIA, we have MCIAA as the grantor, the public part, and we have Aboitiz InfraCapital Cebu Airport Corporation as the private. And then we work together with a common goal. We share the same vision, which is to come up with a world-class airport and become the main transfer and transit hub in the Philippines. And PPP works. And in all the airport summits and forums that I have attended, MCIA has always been branded as the best case example that it works. And you can see from the improvements in operation, the improvements on commercial side, you have your F&B, you have your retail, and improvements also on how we handle the passenger journey and customer experience. Um, we work together. And the split between MCIAA and ACAC, MCIAA takes care of the air side, ACAC takes care of the land side. But like what I mentioned, together we work on the same vision. And I think that's how you make a successful PPP work. And the communication, the constant collaboration, coordination, they are just there. They have an office here. There are people from MCIAA that are also here in the airport. We have regular catch-up sessions with them, like shadow departments. And I think it's having that common objective and that openness that You're not the boss. She's not the boss. We are at same level, working together. That's
Perfect synergy.
yes. It's a perfect synergy, perfect formula for for a successful PPP.
Can you give us a sneak peek of how this actually works? What are the pros and cons? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages?
Well, I wouldn't say it's like 100% perfect, no. Of course, we do encounter issues as well, but it always boiled down to having clear cut designation. What do you look for, or what do you look after, or what would be the responsibility of which group? And that's clearly defined, no, with MCIAA and ACAC. But at the same time also, the regular communication, regular meetings and collaboration allow us to review whether it's still applicable. Are there things in the policy, in the protocols that we needed to change? If there's a crisis, how do we respond to it, especially now with social media? And we are still evolving. And as traffic grows, as we improve the capacity of the airport, we are also faced with greater challenges on how we can manage that capacity. So we need to keep on improving ourselves and our collaboration with MCIAA.
So talking about capacity, MCIA is currently the second busiest airport in the Philippines. How do you manage all the traffic and make sure that the airport still deliver world-class service and convenience to passenger?
Maybe two things. One, we're always one step forward. We don't wait for things to happen. We are always prepared for the worst things. And that's how the synergy in the operations team work. Second, we listen to our passengers. We listen to our customers. We regularly do airport users forum. We talk to passengers, not just domestic, but also international, different nationalities, even PWD, senior citizen, trying to understand what is a perfect uh, passenger journey for them. And that's where we base all our projects or all our strategic initiatives in the airport.
How is MCIA driving economic and tourism growth for Cebu and the surrounding region through your three key program initiative?
People will not go to a place because of the airport, but it's the airport that welcomes
The people, the
people, right?
passengers.
The
First
passengers.
impression.
That's true. It's always the first impression. So tourism plays a very important role in the airport. And the three strategic programs are actually designed to bring in more tourists, to increase the passenger traffic. Ceb, Cebu Connects is the air-to-air connectivity with minimum connectivity time. So it's a very convenient and relaxing way to spend your journey, diba? And the other program, which is called CebPlus, that is our air-to-sea connectivity. So air-to-air connectivity is one, that's Cebu Connects. CebPlus is your air-to-sea connectivity. Because we believe that uh, it's also the job of the airport to make, as an infrastructure, to make connectivity to other destinations smooth. Because everything starts here. So we're piloting a project wherein there is a ticketing station of the ferries
Wow.
here at the airport. And we're talking also to Mactan, very good friend Eric Lim from Top
Top
Line.
line.
We're working with Mactan that will bring people from the airplane here at the airport. You wait, you relax. There is a pre-shuttle from the airport going to Mactan Wharf, which is just a 5-minute bus ride. You don't need to go
Is
far.
this one of those first innovation that's actually happening in the Philippine airport or like even in the rest of the airports in Southeast Asia?
First for Philippines, because in Southeast Asia, we always look at Hong Kong. When you go to Macau, you take a ferry, or Shenzhen, no? or even Maldives. So they're already doing that. But I'd say first for Philippines. So just imagine from the airport, you take a 5-minute shuttle, you're at Mactan Warp, you board the ferry going to Bohol, and you're off to another island. So it's very convenient. And lastly, the third project, which is CebBalik. It's more of connecting our OFWs from their hometown to their country of employment in a very convenient way. And so those three, basically, they lead to increase of traffic. But uh, I'll go back to saying that people don't go to a destination because of the airport. The tourism that's happening in the destination, all the tourism development efforts should work very well for people to know that Cebu is on the map and this is what Cebu can offer. And you have a nice airport, by the way.
What do
Diba?
you think is the largest hurdle that MCIA needs to overcome to reach the next level? Do you already have a planned and a solution for that?
People come to a destination because of tourism efforts. And we have all the necessary ingredients to bring in the tourists here. But I'd say we need to put more structure into it. And the airport is very much willing to help on that, to extend our support on that. Without tourism, there will be no passengers coming at Mactan-Cebu International Airport. And that is why we'd like to be more proactive in doing destination marketing, partnering with the airlines, partnering with travel agencies, online travel booking companies, even online review companies to really promote Cebu as a destination. That is one. Second, once the traffic is here, we need to make sure that the airport can handle it. Okay? That's why I was always saying we have to be forward looking. So while we're working on bringing in the passengers, we have to be prepared once the passengers are here that we manage that capacity.
Operationally.
That's where master planning comes into play, right? So we were prepared like from 11 plus million, how do we move to 20 million? How do we move to 30 million passengers? We're already paving the groundwork for that.
How crucial has the digital transformation of the MCIA been for its development? Is optimizing passenger experience the secret to world-class airport?
It's actually one of our key strategic pillars, digitalization. But when we talk about digitalization, it's always how do we merge it with cultural heritage? Because it's something that we should be proud of. But it doesn't mean that you have to be traditional, that you have to be laid back. It also means that you have a perfect balance of promoting your culture while at the same time injecting modernization into it. And that's where digitalization comes into play. There are a lot of things that digitized solutions can do to improve the efficiency at the airport. We're still exploring AI as a possible solution, even if other airports are already doing that. But I say there's still a long way to go for us. And that's why we're even doing hackathons, no? Because we'd like to know what other solutions are out there that's not in the usual radar, no? And sometimes you get these ideas not from people within the same circle.
Outside perspective, a different industry. Um, Recently MCIA was awarded best airport in the Asia Pacific region. Congratulations to that. In the 5 to 15 million passenger category. Can you share more about this recognition and how it reflects the airport's commitment to excellence and customer experience and service performance?
It's something that not just MCIA should be proud of, and not just Cebuano should be proud of. It's an honor for the entire Philippines. And the ASQ award is prestigious in a sense that it's the voice of the customer. And it's how you serve the customers, in this case, the passengers. And, when we were doing our roadmap, that award is something that we were intending to achieve in 2027, but we're able to achieve it 2024 or very recently. It was announced quarter one of this year. So it's a major achievement for us, but it also sets
The bar.
the bar at this level that we cannot go down and we can only improve. So we'll continue improving our customer service, our customer experience. Um, and we continue to be in the pride of the country in that sense with regards to aviation.
With Aboitiz Group's Great Transformation 2025, the GT 2025, how is MCIA aligning its operation and strategic direction in terms of innovation, sustainability, and really customer-centric experience?
I'd say it's very much aligned in a way that how Sabine would probably talk about being a tech conglomerate, which is part of the great
The
transformation.
first tech conglomerate.
Exactly. It's having that agility, that energy of a startup while being backed up by foundations of a company that has been there for a long time. And that's exactly how we're practicing it here at MCIA. And with all the developments that are happening at the airport, we're very much aligned to that. We are practicing the values of GT, which is call it ITIR, integrity, teamwork, what's the other I? Innovative and responsible.
Why is your partnership with Cebu Chamber and Industry and Cebu Businessman significant for MCIA's growth?
It's good that CBM or the chamber is helping connect industries because the airport as a single infrastructure cannot do it alone. We have to work together along with the other industries, particularly tourism. That's why we're very happy that there's this specific focus on tourism and MICE, the hospitality industry, in the current Cebu business model, I mean, the one for this year. It's also important because we're all aligned on driving innovation, coming up with innovative ideas from the Cebuano community. And we're actually coming up with several programs pertaining to innovation. So one of those programs, yung hackathons.
Tell
And
us more about it.
yes, we're very happy because it's always been part of our plan to do a hackathon. The first round, which I think was launched in the last tech forum, was a hackathon involving Cebu universities. And we're involving the students here. We're trying to get AI ideas for them on how we can generate traffic via tourism using AI and how we can operate the airport more efficiently using AI. And this is done in partnership also with Google and Globe. So tech companies, right? And there's another one which is also very interesting and it's planned before end of the year, a hackathon, a weekender hackathon which will be done here at the airport.
Wow, that's a first.
That's the first. It's an overnight thing, inviting the startups to, solve a problem statement or come up with an idea with limited time. And we are trying to prepare a good lineup of mentors to help them come up with a really nice and feasible solution proposal.
Fearless forecast. 20 years from now, where do you see Mactan-Cebu International Airport?
I can already envision it, to be honest, because that's how it works in strategy. And I do believe that Cebu has the perfect balance of business and leisure offers. And you can have the best of both worlds in that sense. Now, given that, I think Cebu is the perfect place to establish a real concept of Aero City. We have a real concept of business here, and we have a real concept of what leisure really is. It's not just the mall. You have beaches. You have so many things to offer. So if we're looking for an Aero City complex, Aero City hub where everything is just within the airport vicinity, I think Cebu is the perfect place. And I hope to see that in the next 20 years.
Aboitiz InfraCapital is the one operating at the Mactan-Cebu International Airport. But not a lot of people also know that you also guys are gonna be operating the Bohol Airport and the Lagandingan. Can you actually tell us more about those two projects?
Well, these are two recent acquisitions from PPP project. And we're very happy, of course, that Bohol, which is a neighboring island,
Of
is
Cebu?
already within the same portfolio. So I think both MCIA and the Bohol Airport can work together to drive traffic. And it doesn't mean that if the tourist is just coming here for Cebu, we only promote Cebu. What we're trying to promote is they do both Cebu and Bohol, or Bohol and then Cebu, so that both communities or both islands can really prosper with all our initiatives. Lagindingan, or the one in Cagayan, is another case because it's the gateway to Mindanao. And further strengthening also our presence in Visayas and Mindanao, um, Cagayan de Oro Airport, I think will pave the way for businesses in Mindanao to thrive because we're developing something that will help them uh, welcome more investments, welcome more businesses, and tourists even, no? Trying to change their reputation into something that is tourist friendly. That is the vision of the airports
That's
group
where
at
the CebPlus
Aboitiz.
and the CebConnect synergize.
Yeah, I mean, CebPlus is not just or CebConnect, it's not just air to air, it's not just air to sea, it can also be air to land. And Mindanao, I think, is the perfect case for air to land connectivity.
Now let's jump into quick fun questions. Why is there a ship structure at Mactan International Airport instead of a plane?
Well, this is the masterpiece of Tatay Kidlat, Tahimik, who is a national artist. And I think even before airplanes, we've always voyaged through ships, through the water. And although we're showcasing here at my back, the Spaniard galleon, in the other parts of the airport, you'll see the Bisayan or trigger canoe, which is our main form of transportation. That's how we voyage. We are voyagers. We are islanders. We go from one island to another with the use of canoes or boats. So I think it's a perfect backdrop for an airport setup.
If you could have a quick chat with any influential person or leader, whether dead or alive, who would that person be and why?
I'd speak to Amelia Earhart. I've always been fascinated. So, she's also a pioneer, a woman pioneer in aviation. She attempted to cross the Pacific, albeit she failed, no? But she's always been a mystery to me. I wanted to ask her what kept her going, what kind of passion kept her going, and maybe since it's still a question mark what happened to her. I wanted to ask, how do you know when to stop? Di ba? How do you know when to stop? Because we keep on pushing ourselves. But at the end of the day, is it really all worth it? It's a big question, I know.
So how do you know when to stop?
I do
That's
not
me asking
know.
you. How do you know when to
I'm still
stop?
finding myself. That's why. But for me, as long as you have the energy, as long as you have the passion, uh, and as long as you feel relevance in what you are doing, continue doing it. Continue contributing to to the betterment of the world.
If you could travel to any country tomorrow, where would you go and why?
Not really a country. It's a continent. I want to go to Antarctica.
Wow.
It's
Same in
it's
my
been a
bucket list.
lifelong dream.
Okay, why Antarctica?
I guess there's a level of fascination into it. It's also conquering fear because I wanted to jump on the icy cold water. I saw people doing that. When I was little, I've done research on how much it would cost, maybe around ₱500,000. I've tried researching also different routes. Maybe I'll go Argentina and then hop on the cruise ship going there. I have all those researches. And if I, in this lifetime, will be able to achieve that dream, I'm done.
How about locally? How about something local? Where would it be?
You know, I haven't been to Siargao.
Really?
Really, really. And it's funny because my husband is in Siargao right now. And it's the second time for him to go there in a span of 3 weeks. But I haven't been there. And he's been really pushing me to go with him because he's saying it's a totally different world there. And if you're after tourism or getting ideas on how to grow tourism, it's the perfect place to get ideas on how to grow tourism. So I'm planning, hopefully before end of the year, I get to go to Siargao.
Let's try. If you could write a book about your career, what would be its title and why?
I've always been a strong believer of women empowerment. And I wanted to explain the hardships of breaking the glass ceiling while at the same time juggling not just the corporate stuff, but also the stuff that are happening in your home. And hopefully come up with something inspirational to all the female employees, aspiring female leaders out there on how we can do it.
Being a published author, what do you consider the most challenging part of writing a book? And tell us more about the book that you've actually published and what's the title of the book?
I am laughing because it's like a pet project. Uh, and you get what I mean if I tell you the title. The title of the book is, by the way, I have a book. And it's being sold in Amazon. It's being sold in Lost Books that has a small, I would say, interesting space. No, and they converted an ATM slot into a library or a bookshop. So it's available there. And it's a compilation of essays about love, about career, about motherhood, about, anything under the sun. And it's quite funny, at least from my from my perspective, because I do like to write things lightheartedly and try to put some, I'd say, lessons into it, but not the preachy type. It's more of you learn something because it's based on actual experience. And by the way, it's also funny. So why not make it fun?
Humor.
Yeah.
What was the last book or the latest book that you're actually reading? What are the takeaways you got from it?
What I'm reading currently is The Art of War for Women. I've read The Art of War before, and it's pretty, um,
Intense.
it's inspirational and it opens your mind to a lot of things, especially, um, you know, just being ready to go into battle, no. But it's very different with The Art of War for Women. It talks about as women, we try to avoid the battle because we have so many other things to do. So what you try to do is to approach the war in a sense that it's less confrontational and yet you still come up with a win-win situation. And simply because we do a lot of other things. So the last thing you would want is to engage in a war and waste all your resources there. That's what the book is all about.
What is your go-to catchphrase?
None I can think of. I like to say, think possible. I mentioned that a couple of times. Or at the end of the day, I always tell the people in the office, come on guys, let's go home. Tomorrow is another day. Um, my kids would probably say, don't buy that. That's too expensive. I always say that.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
You'll find it funny that my go-to karaoke song is anything from Aegis or
Wow.
Imago.
Okay, looking forward to hearing those songs.
Do not. I tell you, do not.
If you were to die tomorrow, what would be your last meal?
Wagyu all the way.
So, how do you like your steak? Is it medium, medium rare, or well done?
Of course, people will always say it's best medium or at least medium rare. But I also came to a point in my life wherein, come on, I'm Filipino. Medium well, at least. I won't pretend.
Any last words you would like to share to our viewers?
Travel is growing. And I'm happy to say that here at MCIA, we welcome all passengers um, with a perfect passenger experience. And we'll continue doing that. We'll continue promoting that as one of our advocacies. But it doesn't mean that we stop there. We'll continue improving ourselves as traffic improves. We'll continue improving the infrastructure, but we cannot do it alone. We need all the other stakeholders, industries. That's why Cebu Chamber is very crucial for us, and Cebu Businessman is something that we highly participate on because other industries in the hospitality, in the business industry, these are all the flavors that you need to come up with a perfect passenger experience, not just within the airport, but also when they go outside the airport and from their destination, going back again to the airport, then going back home. Um, but what I also wanted to say is that there are very few women in aviation. I was very happy to be given the opportunity to work in this industry, which is very dynamic. But I do encourage more women out there to venture out of their comfort zones and try out other things that may not be comfortable for you because you're not so familiar with it, or you say it's more of a male dominated industry, because women can do it, and we have the right mindset, we have the right flexibility, we have the right, I'd say, passion to get things
Courage.
done. And even courage, that's very important in this kind of industry specifically. So, um, we're prepared for tourism boom. And we hope that it really happens with the help of all the other industries, all the other stakeholders here in Cebu.
All right, that's a wrap for our episode with our head of strategy of Aboitiz InfraCapital Cebu Airport Corporation, Christine Villanueva. This has been Brian Yap saying goodbye, and Padayon Cebu.